Welcome everyone this morning. Mike and Joe, good morning. Mike, I think that you'll notice that you can read the words on my hat in their proper way this morning. Deanne, fine, good to see you this morning. So Mike pointed out to me that there's a way of recording these live streams where you can reverse the camera on your phone so that things that you are seeing are actually, presenting in the correct way. Barbara Richardson, welcome this morning. There's my mom, Karen Lowe. Good morning to you all. So I was, so here it is. You're actually getting to see if I have a logo on my shirt or on my hat, you can read it. Stephen Andrea, good morning to you. Letitia Sexton, good morning. Carmen Lego, welcome this morning. Dana Krishak, good morning. Mark Stewart, welcome this morning. Debbie King, good morning. Jim and Kathy, always good to see you. Mike and Kim, hey, welcome this morning. I hope you're enjoying your time. Are you back or are you still away? I know you traveled this weekend. Glad you guys were able to get away. Let's see who else is going to join us on this Monday morning, April 26th. Did I say that already? Nonetheless, welcome on this beautiful spring morning. Loved the rain yesterday. It's cooler temps again this morning. Thank you, Lord, for continuing to give our earth, our land, drink, so that we can enjoy all the benefits of that you supply. Lisa Phillips, good to see you this morning. So I'm not in a particular psalm today. I had a really full weekend, lots of responsibilities, and I commented, I don't remember which devotion last week, on managing stress and different ways that I do that. And today, what I was meditating on this morning was, I think I'll say with regard to an encouragement is, it's related to that, managing stress, but oftentimes after a very full weekend, I did this on the Monday after Easter weekend too. I feel like I just need to slow down and just reflect and drink deeply from the Lord, because you feel depleted and you're tired. Your soul, you're feeling it in so many ways. Physically, it manifests in my life. I just feel very tired after emotionally pouring yourself out, spiritually depleting yourself. We had a men's conference on Saturday. I taught twice yesterday in addition to leading worship. I'm teaching twice today. And I have a newsletter article that I have to get out to Karen so she can produce the newsletter this upcoming Sunday. And this upcoming Sunday too, we are hosting a worship leader candidate. His name is Jonathan Casas, and we interviewed him 2 weeks ago, and really enjoyed our time with him. And so he's going to come lead worship on Sunday, and so I'm trying to make arrangements for that. And so during these days that my schedule has experienced a lot of stuff happening, I have to stop and bring in regular intervals of reflection and slowing down and just drinking deeply from God. So what does that look like? 3 ways that I practice this. Maybe I'll get to all 3, but certainly 2 is and why did I'm kind of speaking randomly this morning. I apologize for that. The reason I entitled this devotion "Return on Your Investment," getting a return on your investment, is that I journal often about just evaluating where my emotions are, what kind of feelings are happening, are welling up in my heart with some regularity. And if there are feelings that I would prefer not to have, for example, to thoughts or emotions that I experience or recently is resentment. I feel kind of bubbling up at times, and also covetousness. Just desiring this idea of I'm desiring something or have an appetite for something that's just out of reach. It's not mine. I can't attain it. I can't reach out and grab it and say, I'm just going to enjoy this. It's something that's out of reach, and there's this appetite that there's something out there that I just can't attain, and I have this hunger. And both the hunger and resentment, both are feelings of that are disquieting to me. And so, historically, how I would treat these types of negative emotions is, number one, I would condemn them in me, and I would say probably even more accurately, I would self-condemn. What I mean by that is I would attach those negative feelings to, I shouldn't be having these feelings. There's something wrong with me. Why do I have these feelings of resentment and discontent? And I've learned that that's not productive. It's not helpful to look at it in those terms, just to try to stop. You just got to stop doing that. And it just doesn't seem to produce the results that I'm looking for. And so I've learned in the last few years especially to pay attention to them and just ask the question, don't judge them, just to say, why? Why am I feeling that? And I don't always have an answer, but it's helpful to me to discern where my heart is, because often those feelings like covetousness or resentment, feelings I'd prefer not to have, are they're indicators of something deeper in my heart that needs to be addressed, that I need to yield to God. And I don't know exactly, and I have to sit and dwell on that a little bit and acknowledge it, and then I just pray, God, open my eyes, open my heart to understand what's happening deep in there, so that I can address that, because I know that you can meet all of my needs. I can be very contented. This idea of resentment for me and how it feels, this is why I entitled it Getting a Return on Your Investment. Resentment feels to me, when I feel resentment, I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work and I'm not getting the results. I'm not getting a return on that investment. And so I see somebody else maybe who is working, and it feels like they're getting a return on their investment, but I'm not. And so resentment starts to build a little bit. So how do I deal with that? I start to think, okay, God, there's that. I don't know why that's there. What is it in my life that's producing that? Maybe I'm working beyond my limits. I'm feeling like I'm overextending myself. Maybe I'm feeling like there is something in my heart that is not yielded to God that I think I should have or I should experience, and I have to yield those expectations to God. Whatever it is, I don't have clarity completely on it, but it's important for me to pay attention to those things and allow God to speak to my heart. So here's 3 ways that I do that on a very regular basis, not just when I'm experiencing stress or these feelings, but these are just indicators of yielding my heart to God. And this is in line with, for those of you who joined our 9 a.m. equipping hour, we've been talking about the subject matter of counting the cost of following Jesus or being a disciple of Jesus. And for me, what God has really pressed upon me is completely opening up my heart to yielding everything to Him. So that would include whatever is at the root of this resentment and discontent in my life. There's something there that I need to yield to God, because I know that if I am completely have my heart open to God, no matter what my circumstances, I can feel content, and that resentment will dissipate as well. So 3 ways that I do this, just practicing getting a return on my investment instead of this nebulous, unknown sense of discontent, I can actively pursue a few things that do yield a return over time, cumulatively. Number one is, this is what I practiced first thing this morning and often in the mornings, and throughout the day, really. It didn't take very long. And that is stillness and silence. I simply stop whatever I'm doing, and this morning it just was the first thing I did, is I sat and I didn't look at my phone, I didn't look at my Bible, I just sat in silence and I didn't do anything for a full 5 minutes. I tried to quiet my mind and just meditate in silence and just pay attention. And when I do that, often the return for me is there is an increased awareness that though I'm being completely unproductive, completely still, I start paying attention to little things like my breath. I try to relax muscles in my body, clear my mind, and as I do that, I become increasingly aware that God is at work. The world keeps rotating. Gravity still happens. People are commuting to work. They're being productive. They're doing things. And God is intimately interacting with every single human being on the planet in their hopes, dreams, hurts, pains, excitements, victories. God is at work in revealing himself to every single human. And all the while, I'm sitting there doing absolutely nothing. And that stillness, that silence, I feel like God increases my awareness that he is doing things that I possibly cannot accomplish. And he is doing things in spite of the fact that I'm doing nothing. And he is moving forward. He is at work. He never sleeps. He never stops this process. And I can completely rest in that reality. That, though I feel like I have a lot on my plate, that I'm working hard and I'm setting goals and I'm trying to achieve those goals, that I can stop and the world's not going to come to an end. I can stop and people still experience the presence of God. I can stop and people that I love, whom I'm praying for, God is still interacting with them. It's not based upon my active prayers. It's just I can release those things, knowing God is at work. So silence and stillness. And I struggle, like many of you, with an unquiet mind. It's hard for me to stop and clear my thoughts and not feel agitated. So honestly, there's a cumulative effect here. So I don't sit down and the very first time I do it, I'm really good at whatever I do, especially silence and stillness. This is something that I have to practice. For me to do this for 5 solid minutes, I know people who practice this, people, authors I read and stuff, they can do this for an hour. I'm not there. But I used to not be able to do this for 30 seconds. So if that's something you struggle with, hey, you're not alone. I have an unquiet mind. For me to do this for 5 minutes is a victory. But it is over time. It's not just the one time and it's a one and done deal. There's cumulative effect. That I practice this with some regularity, and therefore I can build up my ability to stop, be silent, and be still, clear my thoughts, and be aware of the activity of God in the world, in my heart, in my life. And it helps me to rest, helps me to be more aware of God in my life. The second practice that I do regularly is, since after the first year, I made a commitment to, didn't make it a law, but I made a commitment in my life to fast once a week. And so I just do a 24-hour fast. So after, from dinner to dinner, basically. After dinner on the previous evening, I won't eat until dinner the next evening. Just a 24-hour fast. It's not long. I don't really have to change my life. I could still go on a run that day or exercise or whatever. And I'm just basically just going to feel hungry that day. And I'm not really good at fasting, and this is something I'm learning to practice. So I've done it for I don't know how many weeks have been since the first of the year, but regularly once a week. And my practice is to, when I feel that hunger, that appetite raise up in me, I actively in my mind attach that hunger to the satisfaction and contentedness that only God can provide. So in life, I have appetites, and this deals with the covetous feelings that I was expressing earlier. That these appetites, this longing for something that's just out of reach, and to experience physical hunger through fasting, I am disciplining my mind to grow in my ability to be comfortable with discomfort. Does that make sense? I'm growing in my ability to say it's okay to feel this discomfort, this hunger. I'm not going to die. I just feel hungry. Because it's a regular feeling in me, I actively attach that in my mind to the true satisfaction that only Jesus can provide. I quote verses in particular in my mind, like what Jesus says, and I think it's in John chapter 6, after he's fed the multitude. He says, I am the bread of life. If you eat of me, you will never hunger. You drink of me, you will never thirst. He's speaking obviously of a spiritual hunger more than our physical hunger. He says, you seek me because you ate and your stomachs were filled. You have to understand that there's a deeper hunger that only I can satisfy, that you need to seek me on a more deep spiritual plane. And so I take physical hunger that I experience on the day that I fast, and I transfer that to God and say, God, this feeling I have, there's a spiritual undertone, there's a spiritual appetite that I have that can only be truly satisfied in you. And so on the days that I'm fasting, honestly, I just feel hungry, and I actively do that over and over and over throughout the day. But this is what I can confess and report, that over time, over the months that I've done this so far, in weeks, that there's a cumulative effect that's so positive that I really do start to sense God's presence, God's satisfaction, that I become comfortable with being uncomfortable in other situations emotionally. I told you many times I'm an emotional eater, so when I feel that sense of I want to satisfy myself some way in the temporary to numb out my internal discomfort, I am learning to transfer that to the satisfaction and comfort that God gives, and know that, Lord, it's okay that I feel uncomfortable right now. It's okay that I feel this dissatisfaction. I want you to reveal to me the deeper needs that I have, because I know that you can satisfy those needs. So there's a cumulative effort. And the third thing that I do, that I have been doing regularly, is in helping me to slow down, is I've been walking to the office. With our temperate weather that we've been having, it's not terribly hot, so I can just take the extra time to walk to work instead of driving my car. It's only 2 miles. It takes me roughly 40 minutes to walk, and it becomes a discipline. I feel like, I could use that time, I could be more efficient. But this helps me. I have the privilege of living close enough to my office that I can do this, and I just walk. And in that time, I allow my mind to reflect on who God is. I pray for people who are driving by. I have to walk on 49 for at least a little bit more than a mile of my commute. I pray for people who drive by. Sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook. All these things I can enjoy because I'm slowing down. That's the point. I'm trying to put a discipline in my life to slow down. All of these things, silence and stillness, fasting, slowing down by walking, when I could be being more efficient and driving. are helping me over time. The cumulative effect gives me a return on my in the investment of my heart and my life that counteracts those and helps with those a sense of resentment that I get in life when you put in a bunch of effort and you're not getting the return that you think you deserve, right? Or covetousness, where something is just out of reach. You have an appetite for something you just can't acquire. Doing these things helps me to be satisfied, to be content, and to really enjoy my relationship with God. And through that, cumulatively, over time, God is enabling me to, I don't know if it's accomplish is the right word, but to be more in Him than I would otherwise. And so that's my Monday. After a full weekend, that's how I am enjoying the presence of God today. And it's by slowing down, experiencing stillness and silence and fasting. So anyway, enjoy your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.